Napoleon Hill. How to command your mind and shape your destiny. They say the greatest battle in life is not fought on battlefields, but within the silent chambers of the human mind. A war between who you are and who you could become. Between the whispers of fear and the roar of faith. Between the comfort of today and the vision of tomorrow. Every dream ever realized, every empire ever built, every invention that changed the course of humanity began in that invisible battlefield. Edison's light was not born in a laboratory. It was first born in the unseen realm of thought. Ford's automobile did not roll out of a factory. It rolled out of a vision that the world laughed at. Carnegie's steel empire began not with metal and machines, but with an idea that refused to die. And here's the truth Napoleon Hill discovered after a lifetime of studying them all. You are the master of your fate because you are the commander of your mind. If you can direct the forces of your thoughts, you can shape the forces of your destiny. If you can discipline your mind to think what you choose, not what the world feeds you, you can write the script of your life instead of playing a role in someone else's. Most people never understand this. They drift. They allow circumstance, opinion, fear, and habit to steer the ship. They are like leaves blown by the winds of chance. But those who master themselves, those who command their thoughts with precision and purpose, they become architects of their own future. The mind is both a seed and a sword. It creates or it destroys. It can lift you to the summit of greatness or chain you to mediocrity. And the difference is control. What you allow to dominate your inner world will always express itself in your outer world. You cannot think defeat and expect victory. You cannot dwell on scarcity and attract abundance. You cannot live in fear and walk in freedom. Every human being walks through life with two invisible companions, faith and fear. One builds, the other destroys. One whispers, "It's possible." The other sneers, "It's too late." And whichever voice you obey becomes the architect of your destiny. So, the question is not whether you have power. The question is, do you know how to command it? To command your mind is to take back the throne that belongs to you. It is to recognize that thought is the original cause of all creation. It is to see that your reality is nothing more than a reflection of your dominant mental state. When Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich, he wasn't talking about money. He was talking about the mind. He was talking about the spiritual blueprint of success, a law that transcends every industry, every age, every generation. He called it the master key, a key that once turned opens the door to infinite potential. But the key does not turn itself. You must forge it through belief, discipline, and daily direction of thought. Because your mind, left unattended, is like a wild horse, powerful but aimless. It runs wherever impulse commands. But when trained, focused, and guided, it becomes unstoppable. It can turn obstacles into stepping stones, failures into lessons, dreams into destiny. The first command of the mind begins with belief. Belief is not a wish. It is not fragile hope. Belief is a declaration of authority, a mental contract with your future that says, "I will not quit until it is done." Edison believed when thousands of failures stood in his way. Lincoln believed when the world mocked his ambition. Wright brothers believed when men said flight was impossible. And Hill himself believed when poverty, loss, and rejection threatened to silence his purpose. Each of them understood that thought is cause and form is effect, that the inner always precedes the outer, that before you can possess anything in the material world, you must first claim it in the spiritual world of your own consciousness. So, if your results are small, it is not the world that limits you, it is your own thinking that cages you. To change your world, you must first change your words, your focus, your inner dialogue. You must plant new seeds of belief, guard them fiercely, and water them daily with faith and action. For the law of the mind is clear. Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on, you magnetize. If you dwell on fear, fear expands. If you dwell on abundance, opportunities multiply. Your mind is not your enemy, it is your servant. But if you do not command it, it will command you. You cannot outsource this work. No one can think for you. No one can believe for you. No one can build your dream from the outside in. You must become the captain of your own soul, the guardian of your thoughts, the sculptor of your destiny. And this mastery begins the moment you decide to no longer think like the crowd. Because the crowd does not think, it reacts. It copies, it follows, it doubts. But you are here to lead, to awaken the sleeping giant within you, to command your thoughts with the precision of a general and the faith of a prophet. This is how destinies are written, not by chance, not by privilege, not by luck, but by thought, by a mind disciplined to believe, imagine, and act with unwavering certainty. Now, understand this. The universe does not reward the mind that drifts. It rewards the mind that decides. Decision is the birthplace of destiny. It's the moment when thought transforms into movement, when your inner command turns into outer creation. Every achievement in history began with one person who said, enough. Enough of waiting. Enough of doubting. Enough of existing half awake. When you decide with absolute clarity who you are and what you will do, life rearranges itself around that decision. It's as if unseen forces align in your favor, because energy follows order, and clarity is order in motion. But clarity doesn't come from wishing. It comes from discipline. Discipline is the bridge between the world imagined in your mind and the world you build with your hands. Without it, even the greatest dream will die as fantasy. With it, even the smallest idea can become an empire. Discipline is not punishment, it's alignment. It's the daily act of proving to yourself that your vision is stronger than your emotions. Most people allow moods to dictate their mission. Winners allow mission to dictate their moods. When Napoleon Hill wrote about persistence, he wasn't glorifying struggle. He was revealing a law, the law that says energy, repeated in one direction long enough, will pierce through any resistance, that the mind, when fixed upon a definite goal, becomes a magnet for every resource required to achieve it. Look at Henry Ford. When he envisioned the automobile for the masses, the world laughed. Experts said it couldn't be done. Engineers said it was impossible. But Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. That one sentence carries the entire philosophy of self-command. Your thoughts dictate your possibilities. Your faith dictates your results. And your discipline dictates whether those results will ever see daylight. The undisciplined mind is like a city without walls open to every invading thought of fear, doubt, or distraction. But the disciplined mind is a fortress. It does not entertain thoughts that contradict its vision. It filters every idea through the question, does this serve my purpose? And purpose, that's the heartbeat of creation. Without purpose, power is wasted. Without purpose, ambition is noise. Purpose gives direction to thought, turns energy into momentum, and transforms existence into legacy. Purpose is not found, it's chosen. You don't wait for it to appear like a sign in the sky. You declare it. You decide what your life will stand for. Because the meaning of life is not something you discover, it's something you assign. When Hill spoke to the young men of his time, he told them, "You are where you are because of the dominating thoughts that occupy your mind." He meant that life is a mirror, a reflection of the inner order of your consciousness. If your thoughts are scattered, your results will be scattered. If your thoughts are organized around a single burning desire, your world will begin to revolve around it. This is not poetry, it's principle. The mind is magnetic. It vibrates at the frequency of your most persistent emotion. And what you consistently feel, you eventually attract. So, what do you feel when you think of your vision? Do you feel fear or do you feel faith? Do you feel resistance or do you feel readiness? Your emotional vibration is a signal to the universe, a declaration of your expectation. You cannot deceive it. You cannot fake belief while secretly doubting your power. You cannot pray for abundance while living in fear of loss. The law of the mind is exact. It gives you not what you wish for, but what you truly believe. And belief, when backed by discipline, becomes a force that bends reality itself. Because discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about showing up when it's inconvenient. It's about acting as if your success were inevitable, even when evidence says otherwise. Every master, every inventor, every great achiever had moments of doubt. But they never let doubt have the final word. They spoke faith until faith became their only language. They acted on their dream until the dream became fact. This is the hidden power of the human mind. It cannot distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically real. So if you feed it visions of triumph, gratitude, and progress, it begins to construct your world accordingly. But if you feed it the daily diet of fear, gossip, and negativity, it will recreate those patterns in your life. What you hold in your mind, you will one day hold in your hand. That is not metaphor, it is law. As Hill wrote, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Not some of the time, every time. But you must become a conscious commander of thought, not a passive observer. You must stand guard at the gates of your mind like a sentinel protecting a kingdom. Because every day, the world is trying to sell you fear, distraction, and limitation. It wants you to doubt your own power. It wants you to consume instead of create, to react instead of decide. And every time you refuse, every time you choose your vision over the noise, you strengthen your mental command. You build the muscle of self-direction, and soon that muscle becomes unbreakable. That is when the world begins to shift around you. Not because it suddenly becomes easier, but because you become stronger. Because your focus sharpens, your energy aligns, your purpose ignites, and destiny itself bends to your will. When you begin to command your thoughts, something extraordinary happens. The invisible begins to move. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach start appearing. People, resources, and ideas align in ways that feel almost miraculous. But it's not luck, it's alignment. You are finally tuned to the frequency of your desire. Your thoughts, your words, your emotions, and your actions all vibrating in harmony toward one direction. That is the true power of visualization. Visualization is not daydreaming. It is the conscious rehearsal of reality before it exists. It is the architect's blueprint before the building. It is the composer's melody before the orchestra plays a note. It is the inner movie that programs your subconscious mind to act, respond, and attract as if your dream were already here. When you visualize with clarity and emotion, you are giving orders to your subconscious. You are saying, "This is who I am. This is what I expect. This is what I will become." And because the subconscious does not argue, it obeys. It begins to organize your actions, your focus, and even your chance encounters around that image. That is how men like Walt Disney saw entire kingdoms of imagination before a single brick was laid. He said, "If you can dream it, you can do it." And he lived that truth. He built his dream in his mind so vividly that the world had no choice but to catch up. Visualization is the art of living your future now. And when you combine it with gratitude, you create the ultimate state of mental magnetism, because gratitude is the emotion that multiplies everything it touches. It's not just saying thank you for what you have, it's feeling thankful for what you know is already on its way. It's training your mind to recognize abundance, even when your hands are still empty. Gratitude is not weakness, it's power refined. It removes resistance. It dissolves fear. It tells the universe, "I am ready for more because I appreciate what already is." Every morning, before you move, before the noise of the world invades your peace, stop and direct your thoughts. See the life you are building. Feel it as if it were done. Be grateful for it before it arrives. This is the quiet work that separates the creators from the consumers. Most people wake up and immediately surrender their mind to chaos scrolling, comparing, reacting. But the ones who shape destiny command their mornings with vision and gratitude. They do not ask, "What will the day bring me?" They declare, "This is what I will bring to the day." And when life inevitably tests them, because it will, they do not collapse. They adapt. Adaptability is the hidden face of strength. It's the ability to bend without breaking, to learn without losing faith, to adjust without abandoning purpose. The ones who rise are not those who never fall. They are those who turn every fall into a rise. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before his light finally burned. Most would have called that madness. He called it education. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That is adaptability. The ability to translate pain into progress, confusion into clarity, and failure into fuel. Every obstacle is an instruction. Every delay carries a direction. Every storm teaches you how to sail stronger, but only if your mind remains commanded not by emotion, not by opinion, not by fear, but by vision. Because resilience is not just surviving the storm. It's learning to dance in the rain. It's finding power in pain, wisdom in loss, and peace in uncertainty. It's trusting that every challenge is sculpting you into someone more capable of carrying your dream. The truth is, most people want success without sacrifice. They want comfort and greatness in the same room, but those two seldom coexist. If you are serious about shaping your destiny, you must accept the price of becoming exceptional. Discomfort, discipline, and delayed gratification. The world crowns those who can persist through boredom, fatigue, and doubt those who show up when no one's watching, those who believe when evidence says otherwise. You cannot command your destiny if you are enslaved to your moods. You must act even when you don't feel like it, because emotion follows motion, not the other way around. Each time you take a step toward your dream despite resistance, you are reprogramming your mind. You are teaching it that you give the orders now. That fear no longer dictates your future, and slowly your thoughts become stronger than your doubts. Your focus becomes sharper than your fears. Your faith becomes deeper than your failures. Then something extraordinary occurs. You begin to sense a shift. The same situations that once defeated you now serve you. The same problems that once broke you now build you. And you realize that success was never about what you got. It was about who you became in the process. This is the philosophy of Napoleon Hill in its purest form, that man is not the creature of circumstance, but the creator of it. That mind is cause and matter is effect. That destiny is not written by chance, but by choice, the daily, deliberate choice to command your thoughts and align them with your highest vision. So stand up within yourself first. Reclaim your authority. You are not a victim of fate. You are the designer of it. You are not here to merely exist. You are here to create. Do not ask life for permission. Command it with conviction. Direct your mind like a sculptor, shaping marble, every thought, every emotion, every belief, a deliberate stroke toward your masterpiece. For as you think, so shall you become. Every era produces its dreamers, but only a few become doers. Only a few learn to turn invisible thought into visible reality. And those few do not possess a secret that others lack. They simply obey the laws of the mind with greater precision. They understand that success is not an event. It is a vibration. It is a state of consciousness that must first exist inside you before it can manifest around you. When you command your mind, you rise above the noise of the world. You stop being reactive. You stop chasing and begin creating. The ordinary man looks outward and blames. The master looks inward and builds. The ordinary says, "It's impossible." The master says, "It's already done. I just haven't arrived there yet." This is the great awakening, to see that your thoughts are the builders of your fate. Every idea is a seed. Every belief, a blueprint. Every decision, a chisel shaping the sculpture of your life. And the masterpiece you carve is not given by God or luck or circumstance. It's created by the relentless direction of your own consciousness. You were born with the same mind that created empires, inventions, and revolutions. The same power that drove Carnegie to forge steel that lifted Edison from failure to immortality, that turned Ford's dream into motion, that same power beats in you now. But it lies dormant until you command it, until you declare, I am no longer a servant to fear. I am the commander of my mind, the author of my story, the designer of my destiny. Because life will test that declaration. It will present storms to see if you have learned to steer. It will shake your foundations to see if your faith stands firm. It will strip away what's false so that only what's real remains. But each challenge is not a punishment. It's an initiation. The price of mastery is never ease. It is evolution. And evolution demands fire. Fire purifies gold, and struggle purifies greatness. You cannot rise without resistance. You cannot strengthen faith without the weight of doubt. You cannot command your mind if you have never had to silence the chaos of fear. So when life pushes you, don't shrink, expand. When it delays you, don't despair, develop. When it denies you, don't retreat, refine. The mind that commands destiny does not break under pressure. It becomes sharper. It doesn't ask, why me? It declares, try me. And as you grow into this power, something sacred happens. You stop seeing obstacles as enemies and begin to see them as sculptors. You stop seeing struggle as punishment and begin to see it as preparation. Because the destiny you're building isn't just about wealth, success, or fame. It's about mastery. The mastery of yourself, the discipline of thought, the control of emotion, the unwavering belief that nothing outside of you can define what's within you. You begin to realize that success is not a destination. It's a condition of consciousness. That prosperity is not possession, it's perception. That happiness is not something you chase, it's something you cultivate. And when your mind reaches that clarity, when you live each day guided by purpose, gratitude, and vision, you become untouchable. Not because you have no pain, but because pain no longer owns you. Not because the world stops testing you, but because you've mastered the one thing the world can never control: your mind. That is freedom. That is power. That is destiny. And it is available to you now, not tomorrow, not someday, now. You have within you the tools, the laws, the fire that shaped every legend before you. They were not chosen, they chose themselves. They chose to believe, to persist, to command their thoughts with the precision of an artist painting destiny stroke by stroke. You can do the same. You can begin today. You can start by watching your thoughts, not judging them, but directing them. By replacing I can't with I will. By turning fear into fuel and doubt into discipline. By choosing in every moment to think from your vision, not your circumstance. And when you do, you will begin to notice the shift. People will feel it. Opportunities will move toward it. Life itself will begin to reorganize around your new vibration. Because the world doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are. And when you become the embodiment of belief, discipline, gratitude, and vision, destiny kneels before you. So command your mind and the world will follow. Shape your thoughts and the universe will respond. Lead yourself and life will open every door that was once locked. Stand tall, dreamer of destiny. You were not born to drift, you were born to direct. You were not made to conform, you were made to create. And when the world asks, Who do you think you are? Smile, because you will know the truth. You will know that you are a mind with infinite potential, a soul with infinite command, a being capable of turning invisible dreams into visible empires. This is the hidden law. This is the eternal truth. As you command your mind, you command your world. As you shape your thoughts, you shape your destiny. And that, my friend, is the power that has built every fortune, conquered every fear, and created every miracle since time began. Now, it's your turn. Decide, believe, command, and watch your destiny obey.